delegated by President al-Assad, Minister of Presidential Affairs, takes part in the funeral of late Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez. China reiterates support for any plan to resolve the crisis in Syria on condition that all Syrian parties accept it. China reiterated support for any plan to resolve the crisis in Syria on condition that all Syrian parties accept it. Chinese Foreign Minister Yang Jiechi said in a press conference he held in Beijing that his country was holding contacts with the Syrian government and the opposition to encourage the process of dialogue and reaching a solution for the crisis. Xi renewed China's support for the UN envoy to Syria Al-Akhdar al-Ibrahimi's mission. In a Zatari camp in Jordan, a number of displaced Syrians demanded that they be returned to their homeland or be allowed to do so, complaining of tragic conditions and poor living standards in the camp. In statements to media outlets, the displaced Syrians said that the camp lacks the basic components of decent life and isn't serviced properly, with neglect causing a new fire in the camp, destroying around 35 tents. Earlier, about 135 Syrians returned to their homeland because of pressure being practiced against them and the maltreatment they received at that site. Delegated by President Bashar al-Assad, Minister of Presidential Affairs Mansour Azzam offered condolences in the name of President al-Assad and the Syrian people to the government and people of the Bolivarian Venezuela on the death of great leader, late President Hugo Chavez. Minister Mansour took part in the solemn funeral of Chavez held at the military academy in Caracas. The minister conveyed the Syrian government and people's sorrow to the acting Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro on the loss of a dear friend for the Syrian people. Azzam also offered condolences to the family of Chavez and a number of Latin American leaders. Venezuelan Vice President Nicolas Maduro has been sworn in front of the Venezuelan National Assembly as the acting president of the country, until the early presidential elections are held, in which a successor to the late President Hugo Chavez will be elected. The elections are scheduled to take place within 30 days. Maduro said after taking the oath, "We are ready to go to elections with self-confidence as we trust Venezuelan democracy." Maduro has also appointed Jorge Arieza, the former Science and Technology Minister, as the new Vice President. In field developments, units of the Syrian Arab Army inflicted heavy losses upon armed terrorist groups which tried to infiltrate from Lebanon into Syria across Khirbat Naimat and Jusiya sites in Homs countryside. An official source in the province said that armed terrorist groups tried many times to infiltrate from Lebanon into Syria across the two sites, along with shooting fire from the Lebanese side on the border guard centers on the Syrian side and at the two sites. The source added that units of the armed forces confronted these armed groups, killing a number of their members and injuring others, while the rest fled into Lebanese territories. Units of the Syrian Arab Army carried out qualitative operations against terrorist gatherings in El Jbeli and the Old Airport neighborhood in Deir ez-Zor city, killing a number of terrorists and injuring others. An official source said that terrorists Muhammad al-Marzouk and Ala Kamil Suleiman were identified among the dead. The source added that a unit of the Syrian Arab Armed Forces killed in another operation all members of an armed terrorist group near the Civil Defense Building in Al-Muzaffin neighborhood. The armed forces destroyed two cars, killing all terrorists inside them in Al-Hawiqa neighborhood. In the area of the 7 kilometers, another unit of the armed forces confronted a terrorist group which attacked a military checkpoint, killing a number of its members and injuring others, among them Saeed Khalaf Al-Umar. That was it. More details on our website www.syriaonline.sy. And in our economic news, new import permits in Chartoz port, and how available is diesel and gasoline in local markets. Details on that and much more after the break.